Hi, I made this video to make learning Sir Isaac Newton's 3 laws of motion more interesting and easy. Also, it might be easier to understand because this is Isaac Newton's laws of motion in Minecraft. One day, in 1666, Isaac Newton decided, I wonder why we aren't just floating off the ground, and how come I can't just move as fast as I want, or float through walls? I must know. So, he started theorizing, and thus, the 3 laws of motion were born. So, with that out of the way, let's start learning. Newton's first law, inertia. Newton's first law states that an object in motion will stay in motion, and an object at rest will stay at rest unless acted upon by an outside force. To show the first example, I set off a firework rocket. It went up into the air, and there was no outside force stopping it, so it just continued on. For my second example, I had this dog sitting here. There was nothing moving it, it was just holding still. Oh, here comes our outside force. Bye-bye, doggy. Newton's second law. If you divide the force on an object by the object's mass, you will find the acceleration. You can also multiply the mass and the acceleration to find the force. Alright, so let's say this guy weighs about 50,000 grams, or around 110 pounds. And let's say this guy hits him with a force of about 250,000 newtons. That's pretty unrealistic, but this is Minecraft, so we'll go with it. So, if you divide 250,000 newtons by 50,000 grams, you get an acceleration of about 5 meters per second per second. Okay, so now this guy has some armor on. So let's say his mass increased to about 75,000 grams, and this guy still punches him with a force of 250,000 newtons. Because his mass increased, we can assume he will accelerate slower. So, if we divide 250,000 newtons by 75,000 grams, we get an acceleration of about 3.3 repeating, or 3 1/3 meters per second per second. Law 3. Law of action-reaction. For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction, and when a force is exerted on an object, an equal and opposite force is exerted back. This example is a lot like dropping a bouncy ball on the ground. Down he goes, and he puts X amount of force on the slime blocks. The slime blocks pushed X amount of force right back at him, so he went back up into the sky. The only reason he didn't keep bouncing forever was because there was another force in this experiment, gravity, but that's for another day. And that, ladies and gentlemen, was the 3 laws of motion with examples from the video game with square everything, floating blocks, and practically the worst physics in almost any game. But I made it make sense. Kind of. Maybe. I don't know, you be the judge of that. But let's do a recap, just in case. Law 1, inertia. Object in motion will stay in motion, and object at rest will stay at rest unless acted upon by an outside force. Law 2, acceleration. Acceleration in meters per second equals force, newtons, divided by mass, grams. Law 3, law of action-reaction. For every action there is an equal and opposite reaction, and when a force is exerted on an object, an equal and opposite force is exerted back. You got all of that? Good, because that's a mouthful. Do with that info what you will.